Welcome to the WeWealth Women Podcast. My name is Athena. I'm a CPA and founder of WeWealth Women, a community for women who are interested in elevating in their wealth, wisdom, and womanhood. We do that by helping ourselves build businesses and focusing on the wisdom that women need to elevate in life. In today's episode, we are focusing on the dangers of level up and hypergamy culture, dating rich men, or the pursuit of hypergamous marriage and relationships in order to enhance our wealth and our lifestyle. Now, ladies, especially ladies who are listening to this, I know I have a few gentlemen in the audience now. While I do encourage marriage and relationships, specifically relationships that lead towards marriage, to men who can help provide and have resources to provide for you and your future children, and really understanding what that means. I have never been one to really subscribe to the level up culture. And for those of you who are not familiar with, level up culture, that was more so a kind of culture or a phenomenon that was created or spearheaded by people like Shera7 and other notable YouTubers, encouraging women to date rich, wealthy men. And the focus of it being that. In this episode, I'm going to break up the other side of level up hypergamy culture that does not often get addressed, and how some of the messaging can put women in very precarious situations, and how to approach hypergamy and dating a man of means, a man of wealth in a healthy way, and what are the things that women need to consider so they do not find themselves in these precarious situations, right? So the first video I want to share is one of April Jones. One of April Jones. She is someone who was dating mother of Amarion, the singers. She's a mother of his children. And she also dated Taye Diggs. And she has been known to only date musician, athletes, entertainers that have money, that have wealth. And she has been in the headlines lately because she has been complaining about men not willing to pay for bills or being paid to fly women out. And we're going to just observe that and see, I'm going to break down my thoughts and opinions on that. But she's definitely touching on a part of level up hypergamy culture that, needs to be discussed.
What is happening with the men in the world? They want to be catered to. I can't even.
Get it together.
When I hear it out loud, it just sounds. They want to be catered to. They give you bare minimum. They don't want to spend money. Men will come the bill will come to the table, and the men don't grab the bill. Women are grabbing the bill first.
Wow. Women are grabbing the bill first. Wow.
Drink the coffee, it'll make it feel better.
The women are grabbing the bill first.
Wow.
And we are paying for the bill.
Wow.
Somebody said, how about he come to you? But that wouldn't even.
That's fine. Come to me. But don't ask, don't say you're not going to fly me, but come to New York. Okay, you're going to send for me?
Because he could have easily just been like, I want to see you. I will come to you.
What is happening with the men?
Right.
I'm sorry. I think that I just am really actually old school in the sense that look, I do believe as women, we are working these days. There's not a lot of at-home mothers and, whatever, cool. But at the same time, my G, come with it or go home. What are we doing? What value are you adding into the life of a woman who is supposed to be catering to the home? You want the woman to cater to the house and make sure that she builds a home for you and to make it comfortable and to cook and to do all this. I believe in that. But at what point, if men ain't even flying,
right,
you are courting you, bruh. You want me to cook? You want me to clean?
Right.
You want all these things.
Still.
What?
Expecting those things.
No. What's going on?
But then adding on. So it's adding on.
I mean, and listen, someone said what's happening with the women too. I don't know that because I don't date women.
April Jones.
All right. So that was April Jones and her rants about men not willing to pay bills and men not willing to pay to fly her out and those situations, right? And a part of level up culture, we've seen that with the city girls, we've seen that all over, is being flued out. The concept of being flued out, men willing to pay and sponsor you, right? Now, when it comes to getting flued out, flown out, whatever the girls are saying these days, right? I've always, from understanding and even experience, is that it is actually more impactful if he's willing to come to you, if he's willing to come and see you first, if he's willing to um, make things comfortable, because oftentimes, especially if he has it like that, right? And April is dating, I'm sure she's dating entertainers, she's dating music. Obviously, they can afford a plane ticket. It means more if they come to you, because if you go to them first, a lot of the times it's just like ordering like Uber Eats or DoorDash to their door. It's a low investment. And even the flight itself, a lot of girls get all this ego, get boosted up because a man paid for their flight. A lot of them, a lot of these men have credit cards. A lot of these men work in jobs or positions where they're flying all the time. Most of the time, they're using their own points. Most of the time, they're using points that they have. It's not really costing them money to have you go to them. So when I see a lot of girls making a big deal about, oh yes, he flew me out and that means I'm important. A lot of the times he didn't really spend money on that flight. And what I've always said within this process, if you're being courted, especially in a long distance situation, whatever that agreement is for you and that person needs to be that agreement between you and that person. I would never force a man to pay for a plane ticket for me or to do anything. Now, your response to that, or your whatever you want to do to make yourself comfortable with that, is what the two of you need to be comfortable with. And I think it does set the tone. Now, her response to that should have been, okay, I understand that you want me to come see you and you want me to pay the flight or you want me to do this. I'm not comfortable with that. And kept it under wraps and kept it personal. But for her to go on this rant about a guy not wanting to do that, I don't think that's classy at all. And if that was a major issue for her, she should have just understood that this is not a man that is interested in courting her in that way, and for her to just quietly move on, right? Because the dangers, or one of the dangers with the level up culture, is that it can give women this false sense of entitlement, this sense of he should be doing this and he should be doing that. And that is a very dangerous mindset to have. Why? When you have this energy of entitlement, it is a turn off for a lot of those men. A lot of those men are, or even have had, some of them might have even been mishandled by prior women taking advantage of them. So when you're coming off with this energy that he must do this, like he does not have a choice in the matter, it is very off-putting, and it can put you in a category where he's like, okay, well, if this is the attitude that she has, then I'm not going to invest in her, but I might fly her out, smash and dash her, and send her home, and focus on a woman that is more pleasant or doesn't have this entitlement energy that I don't like, because then it may seem like her only interest in me is what I can do for her, and she's not really catering in that way. So that is the dangers of that. Her having the requirement of a man to do that for her, I don't actually see a big issue with that. I don't believe in, the issue I see is that I don't believe in forcing things. I don't believe in forcing situations. I don't believe in forcing men to do, because in that case, his actions is a reflection of his character, and your focus should be on his character. him not willing to accommodate you in the way that is pleasing to you is just setting the tone for the relationship. The tone is that he not really trying to pay for certain things, or he wants you to do certain things. He's communicating to you that that's the tone for him, and if you're okay with that. Now, the beauty of that situation that she was in is both of them in that exchange that they had communicated expectations, and within that communication there was an understanding that this was not going to work for them, for both of them to move on and not waste time, because I'm also a believer of not wasting time, right? So that is part of the level up culture that can hinder a lot of girls, is the entitlement energy. And I know a lot of level up queens, they're trying to get women to know their worth and understand that they do deserve more, that they shouldn't settle for crumbs, that they shouldn't be scraping the floor to find a guy, and that men should be willing to accommodate them in certain ways. But a lot of women don't understand the information within a certain context. So I feel like they go overboard and fall into the energy of entitlement versus just staying solid and balanced and in the center of just knowing your worth and just knowing what is going to work for you or not going to work for you. Right? So within that, I just want my listeners, the women that listen to me, to know and understand that, yes, you should require certain things within your comfortability. I know women who have no problem paying for the flight. I know women that wouldn't work for. But that is just an indication that that person is just not for you, or that man is not trying to do certain things for you. And that should be okay, because at the end of the day, you don't want to force a man to do certain things. You don't want to force him to do certain things, right? So next, I want to focus on the dangers of focusing on money. But before we get into that, I want to make sure wherever you're listening or watching this video, you like and subscribe. Make sure to leave a comment down below. Do you agree that there's level up culture, hypergamous culture can be dangerous? And what do you think of the current relationship and dating market? Is it hurting it or enhancing it, right? And make sure you follow us at WeWealth Women on all social media platforms. Now, the dangers of a level up culture is it can be dangerous because the push is to focus on money. The push is to focus on men with money. And the dangerous side of that is that because you prioritize as his wealth or his money as the goal, you miss the other things that you should be focusing on to assess if this is even a compatible person to you. Is this a relationship that is going to have any type of longevity? Is this something that you should be in this, right? Is character, is the character of this person for you? Because women, and I'm going to go into our pathology later, because I know men have theirs, but we have ours too. And I'm just going to have to say, I'm going to call us out a little bit later. But because women have so much of a focus on the money that it is like a carrot, and we go blind to the things that we need to focus on, right? So I want to quickly go into a woman called Isis. She had a level up channel called The New Trophy Wife, but she just recently changed it because she's leaving her rich husband. And because with Isis, she ended up dating, she was a single mother, and she ended up dating a man and marrying a man that was wealthy, that had means. And she took a hiatus from her channel. She came back, and now she's saying that she's leaving her husband, or she is, that relationship is not working out, and she's letting us know why. And I'm going to play this video.
That or type of husband that every woman should aspire to have. And I didn't realize that the person I married was actually going to be my biggest nightmare. So basically, when I first met my husband, as I've already talked about in another video, I think it was my single mom video, I explained, a little bit about how we met. And I really thought that man was my Prince Charming. So when I first met my husband, I thought that he was my Prince Charming. I thought that he was my knight in shining armor, and he portrayed himself to be this amazing, upright, righteous Christian man. And I believed him. I think shortly after we got married, and this is something that I haven't talked about, I started noticing like certain things changed with him. And I just started to see a few things that I didn't like. But I honestly thought that some of these were things that I could get past. It was like
I want to take a focus on what she just said in this part of the video. So she said when she got married to him, I'm sure there were signs before because there always are, but she said when she got married to him, there were a few things that happened and she thought she could look past, that she could look past in the relationship. And it flashed across the screen very quickly. I'm going to see if I can bring it back, right? It flashes across the screen very quickly. But if you see and look closely, it said he raped me 4 times in the first few months of our marriage. Okay? The first few months of her marriage, he raped her. raped. And she said she thought she can overlook that. Even if you're married to someone, that is unacceptable. Like that is a major that is not only a major character issue. You are in danger. And I'm sure there were signs before, right? And I'm not saying that people cannot present themselves as, a great person, because she said he presented himself as like a good Christian man or a man that could really do something for her, right? And that was a man of character, the standard of what a man should be. But there is a gap, and I'm not blaming her or anything, but I just want women to know that because a man has money, the dangers of focusing on money is to assume that he has good character, is to assume that this man is this knight in shining armor type of person because he's able to lavish you. And the danger is a lot of women overlook the signs or the small details, the minute behaviors that often blow up into bigger problems later, right? And even big problems, because she said he did this 4 times early in the marriage, and she said that she thought she could overlook it. She thought this is something she can overlook. Why? Because she really wanted to make it work. Why? Because he had money. Because trust me, if this man was poor, that would not have flown. The first time he would have been under the jail. But what also is because she was a single mom, she had kids, she wanted the fairy tale so much. She wanted to believe and make this work so much because he was taking care of her and her kids financially so she wouldn't have to struggle as much. But this is the danger of focusing on money and focusing on that fantasy, is that you're going to put yourself in situations you should not be in for your own safety, much less if you're a single mom and you have kids, the dangers of your children. But we're going to continue on with the video.
It was like sad to even say like I could get past some of these things. I don't even know where to start. 6 weeks ago, I was changing my daughter, my 4-year-old daughter, and I noticed that when I changed her, she was red and very sensitive. And immediately, my first thought was, did someone touch her? Oh, God. Gosh. So I asked her, I said, baby, did somebody touch you? And she ended up saying it was Daddy. I felt like my world ended on that day. My husband wasn't home at the time when she told me, but I knew he would be coming home soon, so all I could do was just say, don't tell him that you told me. And I just instantly started trying to think of how I could get my kids out of the house, because I knew if I confronted him or asked him about it, that he would just lie, and that he would probably just continue to keep doing stuff to her, but just become more covert or more sneaky or whatever. As soon as my husband got home, he was actually picking up the boys from school, my 2 older boys from school. As soon as he got home, I told him that I was going to go Halloween shopping with my sister, because I just needed an excuse to get out of the house with all the kids. And I knew if I said something like, oh, I'm going to the grocery store, that it would be suspicious. Like, why am I bringing all the kids and like packing things, like things that we would need and things like that. So going Halloween shopping was the best thing I could think of to just hurry up and get the kids out of the house. I'm sorry, I had to get myself together. So when I got to the hospital, they basically told me that we had to go to another hospital because they didn't do physical exams, like that kind of physical exam there. So a police officer escorted the kids and I to another hospital where they were able to evaluate my daughters. It ended up coming out that he had actually been touching both of my daughters, who are only 2 and 4 years old. It still feels like a dream. Like when this first happened, I just kept waking up every day and just hoping that this was a dream, because it's literally my worst nightmare. It's my worst nightmare. I myself am a product of RAPE. That's how I came to be, and was also, abused as a child by a neighbor's husband. And
all right, so I know this is a very intense subject matter, so I don't want to trigger anybody, but I just wanted to show the dangers of what can happen when you don't focus on character, you don't focus on what is important to the longevity of a relationship, which is character, which is compatibility, because the goal is so much to focus on money that you can put yourself, and if you're a woman with children, your children in situations to where you can experience violence, which she has, and her children, her two daughters, have experienced violence. I know she has sons, but she did not disclose if the sons experienced anything. Now, here's a woman. She was a single woman with kids. He came like a knight in shining armor, took care of her financially, and like a predator, raped her and her daughters. Right? So this is the dangers of when you focus on just the money with some of these rich men. To be truth be told, a lot of these men can be debaucherous and degenerate and delinquent, especially when money is involved, because now once a man gets money, his ego has risen, and now what he really want to do, because money just exposes what is already there, he really takes on to do. A lot of these men have tastes and desires that are above your pay grade, above a lot of these women's pay grade to handle. And this is not really discussed, because a lot of hypergamy level up culture, to me, is really soft prostitution, especially with the goal of a lot of women to have sugar daddies. Now, I feel like women need to have standards and expectations on who they want to partner with, but not at the expense of money. And that is part of our pathology as women, is that we will prioritize a man's means above the character and the things that, and compatibility, and the things that will provide peace and happiness longevity wise. Now, I'm not encouraging women to be broke or be with broke men, because this is WeWealth Women, but there needs to be a line, and you can't pursue men in a hypergamous nature with the sole focus on being money, because this is what will happen. You put yourself in a situation, you put yourself in these situations where now you're physically, emotionally, spiritually compromised, and now her children are. Her children are. Why? Because instead of focusing on building yourself up, and this is the pathology of women now, instead of focusing on building yourself up and accumulating your own resources so you don't have to go to a man as a beggar, so you can keep your boundaries in place to protect yourself, you don't have energy to build yourself up. You don't have energy to build your own business, to secure your own wealth. You want to put your energy, and a lot of women do this, and this is part of our issue. You want to put all your focus and energy is to secure a man to do the things that you don't want to do for yourself. To secure a man to provide for you. Now, I'm not saying that is not wrong, because I do believe men are to protect and to provide, right? I do believe in that. However, it cannot be at the expense of your own person, at the expense of your own constitution, at the expense of your own mind, body, spirit, and soul. Truth be told, a lot of men present themselves a certain way and are willing to take care of you, but the cost is your soul. The cost is some of these men want everything. Now, there are a few who have great character and morals, but like anything within anything, it's truth be told, it's a small percentage. The quality is always going to be a small percentage. Right? But as women, we don't want to put our energy into building ourselves up. We have energy for makeup. We have energy for, let's take these femininity classes. We have energy for all kind of nonsense. But when it comes time to tell a woman, oh, focus on leveling up in your career, focus on building your business, focus on building your self-esteem separate from a man's identity, you hit a problem. You hit a problem. And how do I know this? As a person and founder of WeWealth Women, my own group, it would be an easier sell for me to teach women how to beautify themselves and how to date rich men, because I have date rich men. And that's the other thing with this level up culture. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't get said or get left out, because if the truth is told, you won't get as much views. If the truth is told, then women will fall off. So you have to sell also a fantasy of what that looks like. But what I just showed in these clips is a huge reality, because a lot of these women are being taught what is soft prostitution or sugar daddying, and that is a very dangerous road to go down, because it can lead for you to be sex trafficked, it can lead for you to be killed, it can lead for you to be raped. Like this girl, it could lead to you to going to dangerous men. When dangerous men have money, it is a problem, because you can be erased off earth or face these type of situations. Our problem and our pathology is that we don't want to put the effort in to create and secure our own wealth. And we don't have the self-esteem to do that. And we don't have the energy, or we don't prioritize that. The man is always a priority, and we fall a lot of the times because of that. We don't want to create our own self-identities. We don't want to create our own wealth. We don't want to create our own, be solid in our own worth. Everything is attached to this man that is supposed to be the solution. And because of that, we act and engage with men in a level of desperation that puts us in these precarious situations that harm us, because you don't want to say no, because you are so focused on what his money can do for you instead of focusing on what you can do for you. And to just align with a man who falls in line with that. Right? But I know we have this pathology. I know that we have this thinking. I know that we are not receiving the right information that we need. Right? So that is why I have created the Wealthy Woman Shift. The Wealthy Woman Shift, which is a 3-day boot camp, 1 hour each day, that focuses on wealth, money, and power and relationships, and how to navigate each avenue as a powerful woman, as a woman of power. Right? How to secure your own wealth, how to properly look at relationships that are beneficial to you, and how to engage with men of means so you don't, in a healthy way, so you don't end up like homegirl in the video. How to navigate your own emotions as a woman and to help elevate yourself. That is why I have created that workshop. And if you, as a woman, are interested in this workshop, you can go to elevatewithathena.com and the link to sign up will be there. But I created this in mind because I understand, especially as a woman who have dealt with men who are wealthy, and I've seen it. I've seen both. I've seen the ones who have good character, and that should be paid attention to. And I've seen the ones that have been dangerous. And thank God I had the common sense to not go down certain roads, because I could have easily ended up like that girl. So if you are a woman who is interested in leveling up in a healthy way, then that workshop is going to be for you. Last but not least, I want all of us to win. I want all of us to win. I want all of us to focus, especially in 2024 going on into 2025. I want us to know and understand we can secure our own wealth. We can be our own women of means. So any man coming to you with some raggedy flight or whatever, you're not desperate. You can assess whether this man is good for you from a character standpoint first, because you're not so money hungry, because you're able to handle your own affairs. The best way to accumulate wealth is through real estate and through business. And for the ladies who are interested in having their own business or to monetize themselves, I have the perfect course for you, which is the AI business launch. If you're a solopreneur, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're interested in starting your own business or elevating one, you can sign up for my course that is available at elevatewithathena.com. The link to sign up is available there. I already have some women signing up. They're so excited. They're starting their nutrition consultation business. They're starting their fitness business. They're starting all kind of journal business, all kind of things, monetizing their hobbies. In less than 3 hours, they can take that entire course and have a perfect business blueprint that takes their idea and concept, creates their business plan for them, helps them register their business, help them with their social media and marketing, help them with how to advertise, help them with how to organize themselves and launch their business in less than 30 days. If the women in level up and hypergamy culture would have done that, taken that route, taken that same energy to trap a man and put it into something like my AI business launch course, they would be okay. Right? The final video I want to share is going to be about the concept of women going to conferences to find wealthy men. I'm going to share this video and then share my thoughts.
Races have been going to conventions and professional settings to meet potential dating partners and spouses for a very long time. This is not new. This is not something that Black women started. I think the main gripe that I have with the Afrotech conversation is that it shouldn't be had on social media. I would love to see Black women collectively get on code when it comes to what we share and what we don't with the public. I think the conversation about going to Afrotech looking for a man should have never made it to social media. That's something that you share with your group chat. And I think that can go into a bigger conversation about the lack of community and actual interpersonal relationships where you can talk about what you plan to do strategically when it comes to dating. But there are so many reasons why Black women shouldn't be sharing this with the internet, because we're always going to get the shit end of the optics. We're always going to be called desperate. We're always going to be blamed for events being declassed or not being focused on the objective of the actual event. And I said this before, I think there needs to be a bigger conversation about Black professional settings and events and the actual business of being a Black professional. Because I don't think Afrotech being seen as Afro Nation with computers or some type of dating hub has everything to do with Black women saying they're looking for the men, and more to do The sensationalization of Black business, entrepreneurship, big tech, and selling Black people mediocrity. White women and women of other races have been going to conventions and professional settings to meet potential dating partners and spouses for a very long time.
So, where I agree with her on this is that, yes, women of other races have been doing that since the dawn of time and do that more so, I think, than Black women, to be honest with you. However, my issue with this conference thing is that if you're only going to a conference, the sole purpose, once again, back to our pathology as women, the sole focus is to meet a man. I have an issue with that. I don't think the men should be the sole focus. You should be going to conferences because you have some kind of purpose outside of meeting a potential partner. Either you find the workshop or the purpose of the conference fulfilling, either you're speaking at them. I speak at a lot of conferences and I attend them as well because they have interest to me. And whoever I meet, because it has interest to me, it increases your chance of actually meeting someone that's on your same wavelength, your same frequency, because you're going there because this is of interest to you. And if they're likely there, it's of interest to them. And then you have something to build a conversation or to bond with or to start a relationship with. But when you go to these conferences and the sole purpose is to meet a man and to go to the events to hook up, then most of the time what happens, you're just going to be smashed and dashed. He's going to toss you like a salad and keep it pushing. A lot of these men are getting smart. A lot of these men understand why you're there. Word has got out, you coming because you're trying to find a man that has a certain amount of money. And they're going to play dumb. And they're going to act like they don't know what this purpose is and let you think that you're doing something until your drawers on the floor, and then they're like, all right, thank you, and bye. Because they're looking at you as someone trying to play with them. But instead of leaving you alone, they're like, okay, I'm going to get this girl and play with her. Especially with Afrotech, just because a man is also nerdy, don't mistake him for being dumb, and don't mistake him to think he can't play with you. A lot of highly intelligent men are manipulative. Right? Because they couldn't use their looks or whatever else. A lot of them don't have game or struggle with it. So they had to really rely on their intelligence. Okay? I'm talking about like 48 laws of power chess moves. So don't think a lot of these girls aren't that smart. Don't think he can't outsmart you. So that is it. So, ladies, anyone who's listening to this audio, I know I came down on us a little hard today, but I had to because I need to protect us and for us to shift and put our focus on what is truly important. We need to invest in ourselves, in our own security, and in our own wealth, because you become a beggar and you become blinded with this pursuit of getting another man's money to the point where you are compromising yourself. So like I said, I have 3 offers for those of you. Idea to Income is my workshop that is complimentary and at no cost to you. The Wealthy Woman Shift will help you level up in wealth, woman, and wisdomhood. And the AI business launch is for those who are ready to launch their businesses today. And honestly, if we had the energy for that, the man situation would correct itself. Because now when you're engaging with men, it's not from a state of desperation. And you're not going to be blinded by his means, that you cannot assess what is truly important in relationships, which is character, compatibility, and love. Because money can never replace that. The character and compatibility and love that you experience within a relationship needs to already be there. It's not going to suddenly manifest. That whole courtship period should be a demonstration and reflection of that. It's not going to suddenly manifest once you two get married. No. And he needs to see that, and you need to see that before. But all right, thank you so much for listening to the WeWealth Women Podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe to wherever you're listening and watching this, and follow us on all social media at WeWealth Women. Please leave a review on the podcast, and I will see you in the next one.